you're focusing on it, it will help you to improve. So the first aspect that I wanted to talk about is the timetable. So I will be given the opportunity to come and discuss something else that we're going to talk about. But in this regard, I wanted to start with timetabling. By the way, you must know that timetabling is very, very, very important. Because if you have a plan for everything you're going to do, that means everything is likely to go on smoothly. Oh, thank you so much.
You are welcome, Mr. Godfrey. On addition to the timetable, without a timetable, you cannot do anything. You need to have what we call plan for what you are going to do, or what you call the action plan. If you want a distinction don't just come from nowhere. You have to plan that I have this number of months for me to write my exams. So you have to divide your time so that you fit your subjects in that plan or in that time you have. You have to divide your time so that you maximize the time you are using. I don't mean that we have seen an example here of a timetable. If you are looking at that sample of the timetable, that timetable is just trying to show you that when you're designing a timetable, you don't make it full, like 100% full. No. What you're doing is leave some spaces for you to be free time. I'm not saying that when you're designing a timetable, you don't have to watch maybe your TV or you visit your friend. You can do that. But make sure that in the time you design on the timetable, you have maximum time to be designated for your books. Don't forget that these studies, they are not going to spend for the whole maybe 3 years. Now, if you are in matric, you are remaining with just a few months. So try to put much more effort on your books than wasting more time on other issues. Then once your timetable is fine and perfect, then you are able to achieve your goal. Let's Mr. Kenneth, do you have anything you would like to speak about on the timetable issue?
About the timetable, I would not add more about the timetable because the timetable, I would like you to design a timetable that will fit in your daily activities. Yes, the timetable will be there for your subjects and everything, but still you have your usual activities that you do. You should also cater for them in this timetable, all right, as you look at it.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Kenneth. Then let's look at when you're reading, you're supposed to have what you call environment, where you're reading from. This is a very big issue with the students. Some students fail to pick up because of where they are reading from. Some students, they don't have where they are reading from, the conducive environment. When we talk about the conducive environment, which are going to help you to score high, which environment are we talking about? Mr. Godfrey, can you tell us some of the properties or some of the things which are supposed to be in the reading environment so that when the student knows that is going for reading, knows exactly where he's supposed to go and what is supposed to be included in the reading environment so that he can score high?
Thank you so much. Still, I would say that regarding the environment, you ensure that the environment is much more conducive, friendly for studying. In other words, within the environment, you must avoid distractions. Okay? What I mean by distractions, I'm referring to aspects like you are studying, then there is a soap that's going on, you want to watch that soap. It is not going to be conducive for you because your brains are not going to be divided into those aspects. It's better that if you want to study nicely, the reading environment must be conducive, must be friendly, such that the concentration is all centered on one aspect of studying. If I must tell you this, that let me say I'm watching soccer and I'm studying. As they are shouting there, celebrating, jubilating, someone was trying to score, your concentration is going to be divided and then you see what was happening. By the time you come back to the books, you have lost focus. So under that thing, what should we do? Ensure that the environment is very friendly. Ensure that the environment is conducive. To ensure that you concentrate on exactly one item at a time. Look at it. You are not studying for the whole day. You have already designed the timetable to say that I'm studying this subject for a particular period of time. Let me say 1 hour. And in that one particular hour, why should you now look at other aspects? Ensure that you avoid other aspects that are going to distract your studying time, and you focus exactly only on that item that you are doing. That will help you to improve. That will help you to study and focus on that particular item. Let me use another example. You're doing mathematics and then you need to practice some numbers. There are some mocking numbers, there are some challenging numbers that you might be doing. And that those numbers, as you're trying to cancel out the number, you're trying to look for the solution, you're trying to find all the possible avenues where you can get the right answers. And then someone comes, call you, someone brings you food, someone does this. No, that's why we say, when you are studying, make sure that you follow your timetable. That timetable will ensure that you incorporate in other activities, other daily activities. In that, if it's time for you to eat, please go and eat. There's no reason why you should still be studying yet you are supposed to go and eat. So if you are eating, eat. Then after eating, go study, such that you do one thing at a time. That will help you. And that thing you're going to do, it should be in a friendly environment. All right.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Godfrey. Mr. Kenneth, do you have any additions on the reading environment?
Reading environment. Yes, thank you very much. About the reading environment, I would like you to have an organized place. What do I mean by an organized place? An organized place should have a table. Definitely you should have a chair where you're going to do your reading. Number 2, have whatever you're going to use during the reading. Remember, here you have your notes from your teacher. You might have a textbook, and I would advise you to have a small book for summary, whereby, because the easiest way of how to learn or how to understand, it's to read from the textbook, compare the notes with the ones that were given by your teacher, because your teacher gives you summarized notes from the textbook. If you want detailed notes, you go to the textbook. Now you compare the two, and whenever you are reading, you have to take note of whatever you've read in a summarized form. You see that? Now, what do I mean by an organized environment? The desk has to be clean. You should not have a lot of things on this desk. Remember, we said whatever you're going to use, this I mean a pen, a pencil, or a pencil case that has everything that you're going to use, then a textbook, your book, and the summary book. These are enough. And when you are reading, do not mix subjects. If you're to read geography right now, carry the book for geography only. Then if time comes for mathematics, take mathematics only. If you have economics, take economics only. Do not carry more than one subject at a time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sam. I also wanted to add something about the reading environment. Some students, they tend to read as they are listening to music. Some students, they tend to read as they are eating. So when you are listening to the music, for example, as Mr. Godfrey spoke about it, that you are reading as you are watching a TV, you are reading, you have distractions. One of the major distractions during reading is WhatsApp. Switch off your data. Start reading in a conducive environment whereby there is no distraction. When you say that you are going to read, mean it. However, you will find out that some people, they don't have that ability to concentrate. You have to use what you call the conditional reflex. When you talk about science, it's something which you read, which you study, you try to practice it. At the beginning, when you're starting it, it is not that easy for you, but if you keep on practicing it, it becomes very easy for you. For example, when you are born, you couldn't walk, but you started to walk slowly. When you are starting to walk, it was not easy for you. You started to walk as you are falling down, you stand up again, you don't stop there. Yes, even people are surrounding you, trying to clap hands for you so that you can still stand up, and then you continue. So it means that when you are starting to read, yes, make sure that you remove all these distractions. WhatsApp is one of the major things which makes students not to score high. So what you need to do is remove, or that if it is not easy for you to do this, try it for the first time. It will be difficult. Try it again. Keep on trying it. After 1 week, you will see that these things are easy for you, and then you read, and then if you don't read, you feel even bad that I've not read. Why? Because it is already in your blood. Now it is in your body. The body needs it. You need to read it. You need to read each and every day. You need to read each and every day. And then when you are reading, even when you see a WhatsApp message coming, because it is you are used to this, that I don't want any disturbance when I'm reading, you see that now things will be going into the brain. Don't forget that in psychology, human psychology, we say that a human is born a tabula rasa, that is born empty mind, meaning that you are born with nothing in the head, but whatever you are going or you are having in the head, you keep on adding them. So even the skill, or you're trying to train your body, you try to train. As you train, you get used. So it means that time will come when you can read without any disturbance. You can control whether you read or you stop reading, and then you continue with other things. All right, let's look at the preparation for the exams. But before you go for preparing for exams, you need to know something. The first thing you need to know is to motivate yourself. Number 2 is also you need to talk about the class time. Let's talk about motivating yourself, because sometimes you find out that students fail. Number 1, because they don't like a subject. Number 2, because they don't like a teacher. Number 3, because the subject is difficult for them. Number 4, because the marks they have got is not good, so they end up being demoralized. Number 5, because the subject is boring. So there are so many aspects where students tend to fail. And then let's look at this from my colleagues. How do we deal with these issues? If, for example, if the subject is boring, how do you deal with this? Mr. Godfrey, do you have any idea concerning about that?
Oh, thank you so much. The fact that hating a subject, or some people having hatred for a certain subject, is normal. It's natural. It just comes natural. No way you can control, or no way you can have control over it. So it happens if you have a hatred of a certain subject, but before you hate it, or before you come to a conclusion that this one, I failed, I cannot deal with it, whatever is the reason you can come up with, please first find out, why do you hate that subject? Amongst the reasons that my colleague has outlined, the reason why you fail the subject or why you hate the subject is because of the bad results. Okay? One of the aspects why you might hate the subject is the bad results. You might be hating the teacher, like I said. The subject is boring when you study it. Then the fact that you're bad at that subject itself. There are many reasons that can come up as to why you might be hating that subject. But the first question is, the moment you find out as the reason as to why you hate the subject, then you will find the solution. Because you must understand one thing, that where there is a problem, there is a solution. And in any case you have a problem, you have to look for the solution. The fact that you hate this subject, then you must look for the reason as to why you hate it, so that you can find the solution. Amongst the reasons that we have is that the bad results. So if you are scoring badly, or if you're not scoring the results that you expect to score, or you don't score at your expectation, the marks are ever bad. Even when you feel you have tried hard, you still get low marks, you are still failing, you don't understand why, then you know, I think this is not my subject. You come to a conclusion like that. But now, you must understand that, why am I getting low marks? That shouldn't put you off. Amongst the way you can avoid getting bad results is that you keep working harder. if you get 40 today or in the previous test, set a target for a 50, so that you work for a 50. You don't set a target that is beyond your limits or that is beyond what you can achieve. You set a target, you say, I got a 40 the last time, okay, let me work to get a 50 or a 60. The moment you get a 60, then you know that I've worked harder beyond what, it is beyond what I scored last time. You know that in the next test or in the next performance, I need to make sure that I add another 20. You will know by the end of the year, or by the end of the time you're going to write your final examination, you're going to get very good results because you have kept on, or you are keeping on working hard and hard and hard and hard as many times as possible. Then that is one way you can improve the bad results. Another way you can improve the bad result is to keep practicing. Keep practicing. You practice, you do something today. If it goes into your mind, you get something harder. You start from simple. You do the first simple one. You say this one is simple, I've achieved. You do another one that is harder than the previous one. You do another one that is harder than the previous one. By the time you reach to the last number where it is very, very hard, you already have the knowledge, you already know the steps you can follow. And at the end of the day, you're going to get very good results. That will help you to change the results that you have been scoring. Another way you can also improve the bad results is to stick onto your study time. Stick onto your study time. Please ensure that if I'm studying this subject 2 times a day or once a day, keep doing that. The moment you keep doing that, you keep your brains programmed. You program yourself that this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to practice this. I'm supposed to do this. You are failing that subject. You were not getting good results. At the end of the day, you're going to improve. You're going to perform better, and that will improve, or that will help to improve the results. Okay, that is one. Then, under the reasons also I mentioned is that you might be failing the subject, or you might be hating the subject because of the fact that you hate the teacher. That is normal, that is human. If you hate the teacher, why do you hate the teacher? Reasons might be your own reasons, but how can we improve this? How can we overcome this? Consult another teacher that is not the teacher that you have. In schools, you have many people who can teach different subjects. So you consult another teacher who is also teaching the same subject. That will help you to overcome the barrier that you have as you hating the subject. Then do independent studying. Okay? Independent studying. You are hating me, okay, as the teacher who's teaching geography. It's fine. You consult another teacher who's teaching geography to assist you within the same problem. Then after that, you do your own study. Study independently. Okay? And if you find difficult as you continue studying, then you consult another teacher. If you feel you cannot overcome the hatred that you have for that particular teacher. And then you can also use study groups as also one mechanism. Use study groups. In those study groups, the groups that you have are for the students. You have different students who are not having the problem that you're having. That will help you to overcome the barrier of you hating the teacher. And at the end of the day, you are not in school to create hatred. You're in school for the reason. The reason is studying and you go to next level. Remember, a school is like a passage. You pass there today, another person is going to come and pass there. Okay? So if you hate the teacher, or if you are hating the subject, or if you don't like the subject, you're failing the subject, you can use some of those techniques that will help you to overcome the barrier. Okay? In that case, it will be helping you to improve the subject. Thank you so much.
You are welcome, Mr. Godfrey. Sometimes students fail, as Mr. Godfrey said, because you are hating the subject. So it means that you need to first love the subject. Number 2, sometimes students hate the subject not because the reason for them hating the subject is maybe because of the teacher or because of the school, is because they are forced the subject. This message goes to, most especially to parents, that everyone has the ability or has special skills or abilities God gave that person. Forcing a student that I want you to be, forcing your child that I want you to be a doctor, when this is a honest truth, that you can find out that in the family there is no one who has ever done maths and scored a distinction. Sometimes these are genetical things, that the problem in maths is genetical. Yes, we are supposed to talk about reality, what is really happening in school. You'll find out that a parent is forcing a student or a child that you are supposed to do this subject. If you don't do this subject, don't come back to my home. There is a student who asked me some time back that, sir, do you have a kid? Then I said, definitely I have. He said that, how old is the kid? I said that, the kid is old enough, over 15 years. I said, wow. He said that, sir, please learn this from me. Never force your child to do a subject. Sometimes the love of the subject comes from the way how they find this in the school, not by you forcing. If you want your child to do the subject, show the beauty of this subject and show the beauty of if you do this subject, you are going to do this course, show the kid the beauty of the course. Don't just tell the kid that you are supposed to be an engineer. You are supposed to be an engineer. When, honestly speaking, you are not an engineer. I understand you are not an engineer, but you are forcing the child to be an engineer. Just come in a polite way and then expose this child how engineers get money, how engineers operate. If it is possible, take the child to where engineers are, so that the child picks the love. Once the child picks the love, he said that, oh, I want also to be like this engineer. Then the child is going to make sure that he reads these subjects, even if they are hard. He's going to make sure that he reads these subjects, and then will be able to score high. Why? Because there is the love. If the love is gone, then it means that the percentage of this child to succeed is just reading because of you, not reading because of himself. If God decides that he takes you away and you die, it means that your subjects will also stop there. Why? Because you are the person who has been forcing this child to do that. So inculcate this culture that even if I'm not around, still my child can continue with this. How? By creating the love between the child and the subject. Yes, Mr. Kenneth, do you have anything to add on this issue of subject?
Actually, I will start by saying someone should know. Hate is a big word, but if you hate a subject, that's so bad for you. If you don't like a subject, I would like to use not liking a subject. Not liking a subject, yes, that's normal, because as you might be, how many? Let's say you're 3 children at home. Your parents won't love you the same way they love the other. So it's normal, it's natural. You just have to learn how to play around with it. But then when it comes to a subject, all you have to do, please in that subject, we have when the question is set, or the question paper is set, the exam, this question paper is not made with hard questions. Each question, let's say there are 5 questions and they are all compulsory. These questions have the easiest part. For example, if it's 1.1 up to 1.5, the 1.1 to up to 1.3, those ones are easily done. Please look at to see that you pass, or you don't leave them unanswered. Another thing about hating the subject, how would you love it? Make sure you befriend people who are good at that subject. Befriend people who are good at that subject. Those people will let you know. You should and when you look at this subject that you don't like, please and please don't look at it as if it's the last point. No, try to see that you hit it hard. Try to see that you try your best. And when you go to these guys, these people who are good at it, please don't start by asking hard questions. Start simple, because it's from the simple ones that we get the hard ones. Together, many of you have, I think you've seen babies grow. No child has ever been given a hard corn to be eaten. We start with smooth food. Afterwards, we go on and we go on. Yes, that's my point about that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kenneth. Also, you talked about doing the starting from simple questions. There are some questions in the paper you cannot skip.
Yeah.
For example, a question of objective. Yeah.
Yes.
Why should you leave an objective unanswered? Even if it is very hard, at least randomly pick. Never leave an objective unanswered.
And those questions that ask you, because they start to, what would be the reason for this and this? The reasoning part of it, everyone reasons in a different way. Please don't leave it unanswered.
Yes.
Understand?
So it means
Because
that
we reason in a different way. So your reasoning will be different from mine. Your answer might be right. You understand?
The same way those questions that are really put forward to say, suggest.
You know?
No? Your suggestion, even if it should be in line with what the question requires,
Yes.
but it's your suggestion.
It's your
It's your idea. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So the suggestion you're going to put forward, it will give you, it will give the marker or the examiner a point to think about. Suggest why this could be like that. Suggest what will happen. So your suggestion is your suggestion, but it should be in line with what the question requires.
so you should not leave it unanswered.
Don't leave it
not leave it
unanswered.
Okay.
Okay.
Some students they have this caliber of not believing in themselves. They tend not to. They think that they cannot make it. They cannot make it. Even if they try, they have tried several times, but they cannot make it. And then this one also goes to the people who are upgrading. We call them sometimes we call them rewrites. To score or to improve, whether you are upgrading or you're not upgrading, if you want to get 60 and last time you got 40, how do you improve from 40 to 60? Find the reason why you got a 40, not a 60. When you find a reason, then make sure that you rectify that mistake. Because if you don't rectify it, again you're gonna get a 40
Or below.
or below. Why? Because you have not rectified the mistake why you got that 40. So once you identify, if you can't identify, maybe your reading style is not proper. Go to the teacher and say that, I'm reading like this. Do you think this is the proper way of reading? Then they will be able to give you the correct what? The correct way how you can deal with this. Let's go to the issue of class time. Most of the students lose time or lose ability to concentrate, or most of the students lose the content during class time. So, Mr. Kenneth, what do you talk about students in class?
Students in class, I would like to know, I would like to believe, and I know each and every student has what we call a class timetable. The reason why we have a class timetable is to follow it, because each slot has its own subject. Please maximize it. We have some students who don't like asking questions in class. Well and good, yes, it might be like that. But then remember, if you take these notes, you don't understand a certain step, it will come back to you. You'll be alone at work, at home, and it will require you to understand that step. Because remember, in a few weeks, in a few days or in a few weeks, you'll be writing your exams, and you need to know it to get those marks. So now, if you do not use or maximize the class time by taking notes, asking questions, interacting with the teacher, you know, I don't know what to say, you are leading a certain route. You might not be leading to your to your distinctions. You understand? And another thing, under class, the class environment, please try also to avoid distractions. I know some people would like to sit at the back, and now if you sit behind, you want to sit and you leave empty desks, the teacher is in front there, and all of a sudden you start asking questions. How do you think the teacher will even reply you if you're behind there? You've left empty. It's simply meaning you came in class, all you wanted to all you wanted to do is to come in class and sit behind. You leave empty this. I advise you to sit. If you find an empty class, or you're going for a lesson, the first thing you do, look for sit. Don't go beyond the fourth row. Sit 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be your. If you sit there, just know, hey, today I sat behind. Even though you see that people are behind, because we know noisemakers sit behind, and when they start making noise, they will distract you. So you should sit in front. This is during the class, and please use the class time as take it important. And those people who take what we call extra classes, or you have a tutor outside, or what, please, you do also have to learn here. In that, by the time you reach your extra class, the person is just adding on, or is just enlightening, rather than you wasting money for school fees, and again you wasted money on the tutor. Please concentrate when you're in class. Okay. Oh, another thing I would like to know is actually to say, it's what? Passing begins with your behavior. Passing begins with your behavior. And even though you've seen, how do we call them? People who lack behavior in class, in school. Okay, some perform well, but when they go out of school, they find it hard to stay on their jobs that they were given. Why? The behaviors are rotten. You understand? Number 2, you need to keep time. If a class starts at 8, give it time. 7:50, you have to be seated with whatever. By the time the lecturer or the teacher comes in the classroom, everything that you're going to use is on the desk. You're just waiting for him to deliver. Those ones who, and another thing, some people say, or some people take an advantage and say, I was absent, he will come and look at me. Listen to one thing, a person being absent, you lose more than when the teacher is absent. Why? If the teacher does not come to class, you lose nothing. But if you become absent, you lose more than the teacher. Why? The teacher will come, he will cover what he was supposed to cover. You understand? But you will have to come again and catch up. Remember, now this will be like doing work for 2 days. The work that you lost yesterday and the work in the same period. Please, you should keep time.
By the way, let me just talk about this. This show is being sponsored by Royal College. Royal College is located on 12 Goldman Street, Florida. Yeah, we will put a link for you so that you can visit their website, or you can visit their website www.royalcollege.co.za. Yes, we will put a link there so that you can try to connect. And they also have bursaries. If you try to register before the year ends, they have a lot of bursaries there, so you can go, and then they can have reduced prices. You can also go and do what, and do apply there when the time is still there. The space is there for next year. They have started their applications for next year. Yes, I think try to rush so that you can get that discount they're gonna give you if you register before next year. All right, Mr. Godfrey, we are talking about class time. Class time, yes. Do you have anything you would like to add on the class time? How should students maximize the time of class, and what should they do when they're in class?
All right. Regarding class time, I would say that a child should make the most of the class time. It is very, very paramount that when you're in class, you actively participate. Just like the previous speaker said, you participate actively, and the participation should be constructive. Not just to participate actively, but when you're distracting the class, say I'm actively participating. No, not that way. Your active participation should be constructive, should be developmental, should be educative. Ask a teacher question. I would like to tell some of I normally tell some of my learners that, can you ask me something that is challenging? I want to feel it. You know, I want to know that someone has understood. Ask, participate. You know, ask those questions that you feel are challenging, so that before you move on, you proceed to the next chapter, you have understood critically, you have understood very well the previous chapter. That will help you to move on to the next chapter. You remember, some topics link, and if the next topic is linked to the previous topic and you did not understand the previous topic, it simply means that the next topic is going to be challenging. You understand that? So normally you have to ask questions, make sure that everything under that line is exhausted to the fullest, such that at the end of the day you achieve something. In this case, when I talk about making use of or maximizing the classroom environment or classroom time, ensure that you take notes. Whatever the teacher discusses, at least 90% should be put down in your notes. That will help you when you go back home. That will help you when you sit independently. That will help you when you're in a group to remember what the teacher talked about. And that will assist you at a time T when you're about to do your exams. So that when you are studying individually, you on your own day, everything will be exhausted. You will remember what you were taught, and that will help you to proceed to the next chapter with ease. So, dear students, when you're in class, make use of the class time. Do right things. There are some aspects that occur, or there are some aspects that I experience in class. For example, you're teaching a class of 50 learners or 45 learners. There's those ones who are ever chewing. They have the chewing gum, and then they make it, as they're chewing it, it makes that loud noise. This disrupts the classes, you know. Some are busy asking for this, give me this, give me this. This disrupts our classroom time. So please make sure that you maximize your class time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On the issue of the class time, maybe let me just talk about a few things. When you go to class, go there with the intention of studying, not distracting, as Mr. Godfrey said. Some students, they just come to distract. We have different backgrounds. There are some people who come to school not because they want to come to school, they are being forced. So if you have a peer whereby you are in that group whereby these kids, they are not concerning about the studies, then it means that even your performance is going to be down. Still, when you go to class, you won't be able to concentrate because these kids you are grouping with are not interested in passing. So make sure that use group work, have friends who are going to help you. We call them friends with benefit. There are some questions which they can bring, you understand it, but your friend doesn't understand it. You can explain this, the friend can understand. Sometimes the teacher can explain something on the board and you don't get it in the class. So because you have a group where you can discuss, then you are able to get it better. As I'm winding up, or as we are winding up with this show, we are going to be posting more work for you in the group. For those who are in the group, if you're not in the group, you can try to do what? To send a message to that number. You'll be able to be added to the group, or we'll be able to we'll send you a link so that you can add, you can join the group so that you get the resources, or you can visit that website www.ThunderEDUC ThunderEDUC.com. If you are also looking for extra classes, you can also apply there. You apply there online, then you receive the form, then you will be able to be helped. If you still have a challenge, you can still come back to us, and then we find out what is the way forward concerning about that. The next show we'll try to bring in some students. We'll try to start visiting your schools and then see what are the challenges, what are some of the challenges which are going to stop you from getting distinction. Mr. Godfrey has something to talk about before we wind up with this. Yes, Mr. Godfrey?
There are a few aspects that I wanted to say, though we are caught up by time. That is the best way for someone to get better results as we are winding up. I'll use 2 minutes, is to make sure that you have a good goal. You know, if you have a goal in life, you know what you want, you will definitely work for it. So have a goal in life. Be positive in life. Ensure that you want to achieve something in life. You want to be someone respectable. You want to be someone who is responsible enough. So if you have a goal in life, that will help you to achieve what you're setting to achieve. And lastly is practicing for what you're going to, for the subjects you are going to write. In this case, when you go to our website, you will find out that we have past question papers, there are links. There is no way you can pass exams without using the past question papers. And as you are referring to the past question papers, make sure that you start with the recent ones, such that you don't go 20 years back and then you start referring to 20 years papers. Start with the current papers, the current past papers, such that you can use those ones. You will find some challenging questions. You may find that at the end of the year, all the question papers are going to be, they are going to be related. The previous question papers are going to be related. Go download the previous past papers, use them nicely. If not, go to your teacher, ask a teacher to set for you some questions that you can use that will help you to achieve better results. I would also remind my host that we are preparing to have specific subjects. We are likely to have specific subjects. Let me say, we can designate a full hour to say this hour is only for geography. So that we specify, we try to deal with geography in particular. That will help you to have more tips on a particular subject, a specific topic that you have a challenge with. Under that line, please don't hesitate to throw in a comment, to say something about the subject, to tell us where you find difficulties, such that we plan on how we are going to assist you on that particular subject, because at the end of the day, we want to get better results. Okay? So, in any case, there is anything that you want to relate to a particular subject that you want to look at, we can organize, we tell you, we shall communicate that this is the particular subject you are going to discuss. Let me say maybe a certain day, and this is geography, and we say I'm only here to discuss geography, and we are going to deal with this topic. So that we can have some slides, we can have the structure, a skeleton of what we are going to discuss, and you know what, how and what and when and how you can improve the results. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We will be having online classes whereby you just have to join, and then you can ask questions. It will be like an open forum whereby we discuss, we specify a topic, and then we teach that topic. If you have any challenge with it, then you throw your question, and then the question will be answered immediately. Mr. Kenneth, can you please also wind up just in 1 minute so that we end our show?
Yeah, I would like to thank everyone who has been here, and I pray that God gives us energy and wisdom to make this big. For those ones who are scared of the digital world, I mean the devices, this is where we are going to go. Because of COVID, this won't go back again. So we shall have to look for ways of how to minimize our money, get some data, and get onto this, because this is the way we are. This is the way we are going. The future. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much, viewers. We really appreciate. Please keep in touch with our YouTube channel, ThunderEDUC. You'll find the resources. You will find a lot of information for different subjects. Try to use those videos so that they help you and pass your distinction. You'll find even study material, links which connect to the website. Visit our website, www.thundereduc.com. You'll find the material there. Please visit that website. Use that website so that we help you. We're not going to charge you any cent. Just visit, use the resources free of charge. Guys, we just wish you the best and score your distinction. Please comment down your challenges. Send us challenges you have so that we know where to help you exactly. Thank you very much.